Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulih Kareem. I am deeply grateful for all of you to be here this afternoon. I'm going to go over this production that Shura Council produced called Masjid Operations Manual. Before I do this, allow me to share the context of it. And the context of this is over the last few years, Shura Council, through its interaction with the leaders of Masajid in Southern California, realized that the primary concern for the Masajid leadership is to ensure the long-term sustainability of Masajid. And we debated what are the possible ways to be able to ensure that our Masajid are sustainable over a long period of time. And certainly a simple answer in most cases is if you have lots of money, then it's easy to maintain. But the other real answer perhaps is that if Masajid inherently become more efficient in serving the congregations, then they will sustain themselves. If Masajid is unable to do the provide the services that they should, then the congregants will find another masjid to go and help themselves. And within our experiences, we may have already experienced that. If I live in a particular neighborhood, masjid is 2 blocks away from me, but that masjid is not giving me and my children the services, then chances are that I will go to another masjid which is even farther, but because my children are able to benefit. And we have experienced this over and over. That's issue number one. Issue number two, 20 years ago, the number of masajid in Southern California, Shura Council did a survey in 2011, which was a 10-year survey from 2001 to 2010 about various aspects of masajid. In that survey, one of the discoveries that we made was that overwhelming majority of the masajid, more than 50% of them, were built between 1980 and 1995, more than half of them. So in 2010, the total number of masajid in Southern California is a little more than 112, right? Of the 112, more than half of them are masajid like this, purpose-built, and pretty large. Can anybody take a guess what are the estimated assets of Muslims in Southern California stored in masajid? Take a guess. You are a real estate guy, Brother Ashraf, please. So you're very close, yeah. So $250 million are the estimated assets of masajid in Southern California in 2011. Chances are it's 2015, that probably is a little more. Now, where did this money come from? This money belongs to you and I and our children and grandchildren. So it's extremely, extremely critical and important that we somehow make sure that our masajid are sustained over a long period of time, even after we are gone, so our children and grandchildren can benefit from it. That was the underlying motivation to begin this process through, this is step one or stage one in that direction. So council decided that we will do 3 things in order to help masajid. First, we will develop a thing called Masjid Operations Manual. Why? Because if you cannot measure something, you cannot manage anything, right? That's the management principle. So are we able to measure the masajid, its performance, its output, its services, its contributions? There is no measuring mechanism right now. It's how I feel, what I perceive. That may be right, but not necessarily always. So step one is to be able to provide a baseline via which one can measure the efficacy of an organization. And step 2 or phase 2, we intend to, inshallah, offer this workshop and similar workshops over a period of time. And the third phase would be then to have a peer review of Masajid. So let's say, for example, ISOC, Islamic Society of Orange County in Garden Grove, is randomly reviewed in a friendly fashion without any punitive implications by another neighborhood masjid. And both masajid review each other and say, you are doing great in this direction, but you perhaps can do a little bit more in that direction. So we all improve. And at some point in time, if masajid do agree, or those masajid who participate in this exercise all agree, then we will have some type of system via which masajid are identified, like restaurants are identified: 5 stars, 3 stars, 2 star, 1 star, no star. And that is not to penalize a masjid or an organization, but rather to help them realize and understand that there is room for improvement. And that room for improvement can be addressed by virtue of more discussions, more training, sharing best practices from other masajid, and so on and so forth. Different masajid do lots of great things, but not any one masjid is the masjid that we should look at. We all have different strengths. So based on all of this, we thought the first step should be we should develop a baseline. We looked all over the country, talked to ISNA, talked to ICNA, talked to MAS, talked to CARE, talked to other organizations. Is there anything that we can lean on, we can refer to, we can build on? Regrettably, there was nothing out there. And even today, there is nothing out there. So it is really a pioneering effort. It is not the best effort. There is a whole lot that needs to be improved in this area also. So Council in 2012 decided that we should work on this and produce something. As a result, you have heard me probably many a times talking about this, and we worked on this and produced this manual. The contributors to this are 2-3 different types of people. One are those who have spent their lifetime in serving masajid, so their wealth of knowledge and experience is capsulated in this. 2 is technical people like Sister Nergis and others in the area of finance, in the area of management, in the area of legalese. We consulted with them and asked them for their contributions to also contribute for this manual. And third are people like you and I who have done tiny bit here and there for the well-being of our community. So we have gathered some experience, and all of that is also capsulated in this. And the intent to make this modular instead of one big 300-page, 400-page book manual is two reasons. Reason number one is that not all masajid are similar. Some are very small, some are very large. And some may need certain things and some may not need certain things. So masajid themselves can choose which one of these modules are applicable to you, and you can embrace those modules or expand on those modules as well. And secondly, we also decided, based on the experience, that we are not big readers in our communities, unfortunately. So if we make this little intimidating and exhaustive, then chances are that it will never be read. If it is a little simpler, 50 pages, 70 pages, chances are that it will be at least skimmed through. So based on those factors, it's based on a modular format. So what I am going to offer today to us is an overview of this. What is the manual, not necessarily in depth about each module. And these are the 5 modules that we have. First is governance. What exactly is masjid governance all about? Some of the points that were discussed by Sister Nergis this morning address those issues. 2 is the operation. This is the most exhaustive area, and so many factors and aspects are are involved in the area of operations. Third is programs. What kind of programs should Masajid offer and not offer, when, and how those programs can be implemented and executed, and who will do that? Can they be measured? Can they be improved? And so on and so forth. Fourth are the policies. We discussed a good deal this morning about policies. Overwhelming majority of the masajid today do not have policies. So we cannot implement something when we don't have anything in hand. And even if we have something, then unless it's fully known to both parties who are involved in the policies, then that cannot be of any help either. And what are those areas where we should have and must have policies? And then there are some areas that probably we don't necessarily have to have a policy. Having the Salat Zuhr at 1:15 or 1 o'clock, there is no policy needed for that. But should Imam be the leader, or Imam as a full-time staff member, should he be there all the time? Then maybe that's a policy issue, and that's just an example. And lastly, the safety and security of our masajid, which is so critically important. This masjid that we are at, this, I don't know, maybe $10 million, $15 million worth asset. Our masajid are open 24/7 in most cases, almost all masajid. Anyone can walk in, anyone can pray, anyone can steal, anyone can sleep, and so on and so forth. So safety and security is a major issue now, and that's our responsibility as leaders of the masajid, because this is an amana that we have inherited, the community has built on, and therefore we are responsible toward this. So I'll go over each one of these modules in as briefly as possible.